Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of, I was about to say Where WrestleMania. WarriorSInce 9-1 podcast. It's your boy, Izzy Too Real. Hold on, get this off my screen real quick. There we go.
With your co-host.
And my co-host for the day. What's up, man?
It's your
Introduce
boy,
yourself.
Playboy Troy. If you don't know, now you know. If you haven't been watching We're WrestleManiacs 2 or the Heavily Opinionated podcast, it's your boy, the one your mama love, the one your grandma love, the one your sister love, the one that running up and down the family tree like a squirrel. It's your boy, Playboy Troy. Yes, it's me. It's me. He might have been a Warriors fan since 91. Well, I've been a Heat fan since, I don't know, 11. Yeah,
I was trying to think of a number that rhymed with fan.
No, since Heat fan since 11. 2011. I've been there. I stayed. I got there because of LeBron.
Heat fan since 2011. There you go. Boom.
I got there because of LeBron, and I stayed there after LeBron, and I just been there ever since.
Hell yeah! I feel like you be coming up with these little these beginning of the show quips for yourself, and it seems like you keep the same ones, like from the Heavily Opinionated podcast to We're WrestleManiacs, and now even to today. Yeah, because it seemed like you and your boy got into it about what you had said at the beginning of the last episode.
Wait, which one? You talking about Heavily Opinionated?
Yeah, it's on the Heavily Opinionated.
Oh, about the Little
podcast.
Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, because you said something about the He was like, red in your hood, what?
Because I said, oh, man.
That was hella funny.
I forgot what it was, but it was like Little Red Riding Hood, something like that. It was based off because the fact that I had a red jacket on, a red hoodie on. Oh, Little Red Hoodie because I always get the cutty. Something like that.
Because you always get the cutty.
And he was like, what?
He was like, because I get the girls.
Duh. It makes sense.
But hell yeah, so we starting today the WarriorSInce 9-1 podcast. We going to today talk about more than just the Warriors, but we're going to start it off. We're going to talk about some Warrior stuff because we had some preseason action that took place. Mm-hmm. So we finally back. Hoop is back. So excited to have Hoop back going on. And as for us, first game was against the Los Angeles Lakers on October 7th. So Warriors versus Lakers from Chase Center. The Warriors won the game 125-110. Very entertaining game, especially in the first half where it was going back and forth. Before I even get to the Warriors side of it, on the Lakers side, D'Angelo Russell looks good early on. I think he had 16 of his first points in the first half. Balling was looking pretty good, and it looks like he's more comfortable in the system now with the Lakers.
Because he was forcing there kind of last year. It felt like he was forcing there last season.
Because he was. And
it just didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. So, like, now he's kind of got his footing of where he needs to actually be at and what he needs to be doing. So, that's why he kind of looks way better now than what he did when he first got there.
Absolutely better. I know it's only just preseason, so don't bite me about it. But at the end of the day, I just thought the way that he looked out there with the team would look good. And Rui Hachimora is like he figured out something as far as his play to like, I'm just going to play bully ball, especially against smaller teams. And when he went to that bully ball mentality, he was looking very good out there. And I actually think they maybe need to start him instead of Vanderbilt.
Rui?
Yeah. I think they might.
I leave Rui on the bench.
On the bench?
Because he brings that scoring. He adds scoring to the
They got so many scorers that they can come off the bench. Christian Wood.
But he's actually
Max Christie.
He's a consistent scorer. He's probably the most consistent scorer on that bench.
Christian Wood would be a consistent scorer.
Nah, he's been up and down a lot. So
I think with this system he might be better.
I think we have to see. But for right now, Rui is the best scorer come off the bench right now.
True. I'm trying to think of who else on that bench. Don't Austin
Gabe
Reeves
Vincent.
come off the bench? Gabe Vincent.
Like
they got a lot of scorers that come off that bench.
Oh, they do. Right now, to me, Gabe Vincent and Rui are the best scorers on the bench.
Gabe Vincent just got to get his footing under him.
He has to find out where his spot is now,
exactly.
especially after being a starter for Miami for so long.
And now you're coming off the bench.
Yeah.
For the Lakers. But there was no LeBron, so that kind of would made things a little more easier, too, for D'Angelo and for Rui Hachimura. Yeah. AD looked like AD, so it was really nothing to really drive home about. In order for the Lakers to actually be a team to be successful this year and to make it far in the playoffs, they're going to have to rely on AD. It's not going to be LeBron. LeBron's in year 20? 21? Year 21.
Yeah.
They should not be relying so heavily on LeBron.
But that's the problem.
And that's what's been the problem.
That's been the problem, and it's going to probably continue to be the problem because until Anthony Davis could show that he could be consistent and not be a roller coaster
Right.
on the offensive side, he didn't until he could show that, it's always gonna be LeBron James as the head of the horse. And LeBron, you could clearly see, is tired of being the head of the horse now.
He's tired in general. He's old.
Yes.
But
I'm saying
old, but he's older.
People don't notice that LeBron, once he left Miami, that was your indicator. Like, you seen how he was moving from then.
Right.
He needed those young players.
Yeah.
He started to need the young players once
Kyrie.
he left Miami. That's why he went back to Cleveland. Because when he left Cleveland in the first place, he needed vets. The reason what he needed in Cleveland the first time was he needed vets.
Yep.
He went to Miami, got the vets, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm actually now one of the vets, and for me to stay in this game longer, I'm gonna need these young guys. I'm starting to need these young guys. Even though he had the mixture of the young and the old in Cleveland, once he came to the Lakers, he just needed young. He needed young around him. And that was the thing. He needed actual young, developed players. He didn't need young, need-to-develop players. That's why he got rid of, like, the Lonzos and Brandon Ingram and
even Andrew Wiggins.
Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson.
Oh, because he was a Laker.
He was.
Jordan Clarkson was a Laker.
Kyle Kuzma stayed just because.
Was D'Angelo a Laker at that time?
D'Angelo wasn't. Okay. D'Angelo was already gone by then.
He wasn't there. He was in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He was in Brooklyn.
But I'm saying, like, he had got all these people kind of left the team because it was like, yo, LeBron's in town and they need to win now, and LeBron don't have time for developing. He doesn't have that much time left to do developing and everything.
Nah, hell no.
So right now, like you said, though, the Lakers did look good. I thought the Lakers looked good in their first preseason game.
Looked even better in the second one.
The game just looks different for the Lakers. You can't base what they look like now in these preseasons because LeBron's not playing. Until LeBron started playing in the preseason games and, like, they actually get in the flow of it.
Well, he played last night. I'm trying to think of who did they play. They played in Vegas.
I wasn't able to catch that.
I want to say they played Charlotte. They played a team in Vegas last night, and they still looked good. But
they're going to look good, but I'm saying, like, that flow is different. You could tell the difference of the flows of the game for them.
Correct.
Because when LeBron's not there on the court, they play more freely.
Right.
Like, it's like everybody has a chance to show off and do what they need to do. They played Brooklyn.
There you go.
They beat Brooklyn by 3.
There you go.
But
very good game too. That's the game I was watching when the Wembanyama game was going on.
Oh, gotcha.
I was watching the game, but I can't remember which game it was. That one.
But Wembanyama, that was a good game. But but all together for the Lakers and Golden State talk, yeah, they was a good team. But I want to see them more. This season's gonna be great for them. I know it's gonna be great for them.
Absolutely.
As long as their bodies hold up, they're good. And
that's gonna be the question throughout the whole 82 game season. Can the bodies of LeBron and AD especially hold up? LeBron,
on top of that,
LeBron is gonna have injuries. It's gonna
be. They have to play in the tournaments, in that tournament too.
Correct.
The in-season
but they're
tournament.
still part of the 82 game season. So,
yeah, still part of it.
As far as the Warriors side though, different squad. If everything kind of feels new, especially with me being the Warrior fan here, everything kind of feels new with Golden State. With Chris Paul being there because, of course, Draymond is out for, 3 to 6 weeks or whatever with the ankle sprain or the ankle injury. So, of course, the slot was going to go to Chris Paul. And immediately when the game started, the shots were clunky, but you seen how open they were getting, how they were getting open shots because Chris Paul was being the facilitator. Steph did not have to carry the ball up the court. He didn't have to really do much, but when he got it, all he had to do was release. Klay, he's not going to sacrifice for anybody. He was going to be a chucker. His first 4 or 5, I think he missed, but I was like, get him out the way now. And then after that, he got hot and just would start hitting. I was like, I like the way that this looks with Chris Paul. I see you smiling.
Because we recording today, but yesterday I recorded on the Heavily Opinionated podcast episode, and we was talking about the Warriors. And I mentioned that now Klay Thompson, he has gotten into the role of J.R. Smith when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is not a
smarter version,
which is not a bad thing, but it's like with JR on the Cavs, if for him to be a part of the game, he had to start shooting early. So he had to get those 4 or 5 threes up to start to get in rhythm. you can't with Klay is the same thing now. He needs to get those 4 or 5 shots up to get in rhythm. Because if you let him sit on the like a lot of people want Klay to come off the bench now with Chris Paul now in town. Because my rotation,
I don't know who the sacrifice is.
I know you. We went back and forth offline.
We're gonna go back and forth
now
on this show, yeah.
But my lineup was to start the game off was going to always be Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, and Looney, and I have Chris Paul come off the bench,
which is 97% of Warrior fans.
And then to end the game, give me Chris, Steph. I said Chris, Steph, Klay, Wiggins, and Draymond to end the game. And occasionally have Looney in there instead of Draymond. Or occasionally have Looney in there instead of
Klay. I would say instead of Klay. Because at the end of the game, Klay gets boneheaded and he starts chucking up shots.
So it was in between of either Looney comes in for either Klay or Wiggins. Mm-hmm. Or like you have Chris in there to end the game. I don't have no problem with Chris ending the game.
Chris has to be in there to end the game.
I don't have no problem with that.
And I think
my problem is having him start more than 62 games.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I don't need him to start 62 games.
But he's not going to start 62 games.
Yeah. I don't want him to start.
He's not going to start more than 62 games for sure. As that's going on to my right and your left. But he's not going to play that many games. I think a total maybe 50-something games this year. And it's going to be by choice. And not by his choice, but it's going to be by Warrior choice to make sure that he can make it to the playoffs. Because Chris's problem has always been injuries in the playoffs.
That's all I keep saying.
Regular season.
And I feel like that's, if anybody that's a Warriors fan that's saying, let's have Chris come off the bench, I think that's the only reason why we're saying that. And I'm not like a huge Warriors fan. I'm just a basketball fan that knows basketball. Right. Chris Paul's body hasn't held up for these past seasons for the playoffs.
At least 5, I think. Since the Houston season.
Since the Houston season.
The Houston series.
His whole body, really, that first year in Houston, ever since then, he has not.
Because he's been trying to play 82 or 80 games or 78 games, and it's like you're older, you're in your 30s now. Your body doesn't recuperate like it used to. So, and I think that's why he's not going to be playing as many games this year with the Warriors. Hell, I don't think, to tell you the truth, that Draymond and Steph might play that many games.
I'm about to say, I'm going to just pull up the stat real quick because I got the stat right here. This is from the past couple of years. Last year with Phoenix, he started 59 games, played 59 games. He started 65 games, played 65. So everything he started, he's always been a starter.
He started, yeah.
So 59, 65, 70, 70, 58, 58. That's been and that's
how many I think he's going to play this year. Crazy enough.
In my head, that's why I need him to be under that. I need him to be under 55 to start games.
But you know what's going to be the difference as well? What's his minutes?
His minutes, yeah. Because his minutes will not be. His minutes since Houston. He's basically been at 32 minutes every game.
See, he's not going to be playing that many minutes. I don't think with this team.
I need him to be under that. I need him to be at 24. I'll leave him at 24 and
24 to 28.
And occasionally, when games are close, that's when I have him more than 24. But majority of the time, I'm keeping him under 24.
Right.
If I'm Steve Kerr, my goal for the season is to have Chris Paul play 50 games even. Just play. I don't need him to start 50 games. I don't need him. He just need to play 50 games even. And he needs to average at least 24 minutes.
Give me 55, and I'm okay with it. Now, I know a lot of Warrior fans, a lot of you Warrior fans out there are like, hell no. He needs to play more than 55 games. But no, when you realistically really look at it, you need his body for the playoffs.
You need his body.
And even if in the playoffs, that's when he becomes the bench player or, the sixth man off the bench, because that's also a possibility. He could become that sixth man in the playoffs to really assure that he does not accumulate because usually leg injuries.
Right.
I think one time it was an abdominal injury, but mostly it's been leg and calf injuries.
It's been all legs.
So in order to preserve those legs, I do think that maybe the playoffs might be when he actually does come off the bench, which will also be sound strategy for them. But for the people out there that are saying, like, defensively, Chris Paul's never been a defender, I push back on that every time. It's like, what are we talking about? But Chris Paul is just 6 foot tall, so people look at him as being small, as never been a defender.
I said, my question, last week. Well, not last week, yesterday.
On eight, I can't even say
heavily opinionated. You can say that. I said, Is Chris Paul a better defender than Klay Thompson, though?
Now,
Right now, who's a better defender to have
no,
on the
because
floor?
Klay can still guard fours.
So
Klay can guard 3 and 4.
That was my thing. Klay might, yes, he might be a liability on offense sometimes. Yes,
He's a liability on both ends when he's not fully engaged in the game.
But that's the thing. Majority of the time, he's not going to always be not engaged in the game.
But it's a lot of times, or just a lot of times where he's just pressing. So if he cannot press as much, especially like he did the past 2 years, then he'll be fine.
It's probably because the only reason I say it is probably because he, as not saying Warriors fans only, but you basically have Warriors fans that's like, we need the old Klay back. We need the old Klay back. So in mental wise, if I'm a player, and I've had injuries too, where I'm constantly like, I'm basically chasing the ghost of myself. Because I'm like, I need to get the back where I was at. I need to get there. Klay is basically doing that now where he's chasing a ghost of his old self.
And that's what he does not need to do.
That's what he don't need to do.
And it's like you can always just become a different version. And the person I look at the most with that is Vince Carter. How Vince Carter literally went from like, he's played every role in the NBA.
Yep.
And I don't think no star player has ever done that. He literally went from a star player to literally a bench rider and played every role in between in his whole career. You know what I mean? And I think that Klay might have to start adjusting in that sense. Like, now I know I'm not going to ever be him again, but I got to make sure that my jumper is wet.
Right.
And if I can get to the cup. Said jumper. I don't know what you do that for. And then he needs to make sure that like he can at least defend the 3s and 4s. We know he can't defend 2s anymore, but at least the 3s and the 4s.
Yeah. But I just want to go to the point where you was like, the Warriors, like you wanted 55 out of Chris Paul, right? If you go 55, that's cool. But all you really need, because if I'm looking at the playoffs last year, right? The OKC Thunder almost got in just by the play-ins. And they only won 40 games.
Correct.
They only won 40, right? So I'm looking at this, I'm like, bro, all the Warriors really have to do now, being honest, they just have to win 42 games.
Oh, hell no. No.
Not saying.
Not again.
Not saying.
Not again. That was that.
They only won 40. They only won 44 last year.
I know. I think that was excruciating for Warrior fans.
Yeah.
It was very excruciating.
I believe it. I'm saying with Chris Paul playing every game, if you got
Chris Paul is Chris Paul. He's elevated every team he's played for. So if you get 44 wins again, that's a loss.
No. Hold on. Well, this is what I'm saying. Okay. With Chris Paul playing only 55 games, they need to win 44 out of those 55
that he plays.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good enough. If you could win 44 out of those, so Chris Paul only loses like 11 times. With you having Chris Paul playing the game, you only lose 11 times with Chris Paul. So now that literally leaves you what? Like, I want to say 34, 36. I might be off on the math. 37.
Like 38, 39 games.
Yeah, left. From that, really all you got to do is win
like 15.
Win 15. And that's without you having Chris Paul playing.
That's 50. That's the Kaminga games. Those are the games
those are the games. Yeah, those are the Kaminga games. Those are the games that
games, whoever.
Rudy Gay, whoever.
Right. Well, no, I don't ever see him. He might have one 20-point game just to draw back the hands.
That might be the games that Steph Curry just blows the roof off the place. If you just have those games, cool. Like it's like old Warriors times.
You're gonna get those, but I think you're gonna get a lot of those with
Chris Paul.
But
you also have a lot of those without Chris Paul.
I want Chris Paul to average 8, 9 assists. I think that's what he's heading for. He could do it, honestly, because the shooters around you, and then you have Wiggins, who's a slasher, and he can also shoot the 3. Then the pick and roll, which is going to be a very slow pick and roll between him and Kevon Looney.
Yeah,
but it's going to be effective.
Yeah,
because they're both smart-ass players where they know angles.
Right.
And that's what basketball really is. It's a geometry game. It's about angles. So with those two guys out there to have those angles and to be able to make things happen in the paint and still be able to pass out the paint if they need to, going to be a win for them. And this is going to lead into the next part to move along. A lot of people have been saying teams that are very stacked. Nice. Teams that are very stacked, like the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers. This Warrior team is stacked as well. People, I don't know if you guys notice or not, but they do have recognizable names on the roster as well as two of their own that they're trying to develop. And then they had this little 6'2" white chocolate, if you will, if you want to call him that. Jason Williams-esque type of player, Brandon Pajemski, who went out there and let's put it like this. He laid an egg in Summer League. He was just as bad as Brandon Miller. He was just as bad. He just was getting more rebounds than Brandon Miller. But his jump shot was terrible. His floaters weren't going in, nothing. And just to even see, even though it was one preseason game, but just to see him get the angles, little spin move or a quick little Euro step to the bucket with a left-hand finish or just little creative finishes, and he was able to get the layups to go over bigger defenders. Now I kind of don't have the worries about that.
What was his last name?
Pajemski. So it's the P and the Z are a J from what he said when he was on the post game.
I got you.
And then you still have players again like Rudy Gay, Corey Joseph to go along with your Kumingas, your Moody's, who I think is going to take a bigger step this year. Moody, to go back to the Laker game a little bit, he was hesitant the first quarter when he got in. And I was talking to the TV like, Moody, stop being hesitant. And immediately he became more aggressive.
Yeah.
And when he became aggressive, I was like, that's what the fuck I want to see.
Gary Payton, the second.
Oh, yeah, GP2.
GP2's
and I'm not looking for him to be a scorer, but just to clamp up and lock down on defense.
Saric.
Like, that's who I was going to get to. Dario freaking Saric, who looked great with this team. Look perfect fit, and he wasn't even in there with Chris Paul and Steph in him.
He reminded me of someone that played for... Huh?
Bielitsa?
No, he played with the Warriors before, too.
Bielitsa?
No. It's
David Lee?
It's not Bielitsa.
Bielitsa.
It's going to come to me later.
I don't know who you're talking about because Zaza didn't play out there like that.
No, it's not.
Bogut didn't play like that.
It's not actually. He wasn't a big man.
Oh,
he was a 4.
And the thing is, too, about...
he came from San Antonio. I want to say he came from San Antonio.
David West?
No.
Okay. So, as you think about that, I'm going to just say this real quick.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Dario Saric is... Let me say the pause first. Pause. There's no other way to say it. The guy is bigger than what initially thought. He's projected to be 6'9", 6'10".
He's like 6'11".
Yeah, he looked like he was 6'11" out there.
Like 6'11".
250.
I always assumed that he was 6'11". I didn't know he was something else.
They got him as like 6'9", 6'10", and I'm like, nah, he's taller than that, yo. And it showed out there, but he had one play with Moody where he kind of got a little irritated with Moody, and then after that, that's when Moody got aggressive because it was on the pick and roll, and Moody didn't shoot the ball. He was hesitant, and he turned it over. But, again, just to see the team in the second unit being able to hold leads, which they have not been able to do in past seasons, a win for the Warriors. I can't wait for the season to start. Can't wait for really Game 2 against the Lakers, which will take place on the 13th, I think, or the 11th. One of those 2 days. So, which will be tomorrow. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on when the actual game is. But we're going to move on to more just NBA topics real quick. James Harden, the saga in Philadelphia continues.
It never will end.
It's like it never will end. And my question to you, since I got you here, is there a scenario where you see James Harden getting the hell out of there or them finally trading him? And where do you see him landing, if anywhere?
Well, first... The windows are closed. The windows is closed with the getting him out of there, for me, because he could have been gone multiple times. He should have been gone. Talks are still with the Clippers, but to me, the trade should have been a 4-way trade with the Damian Lillard and Heat, Clippers and 76ers. That would have been a great 4-way trade. He could have went
to Portland, and then Portland could have just
he would have just still ended up with the Clippers. But
the Clippers in that trade?
The Clippers would have been in the trade. I'm saying they could have made a 4-way trade.
It would have been a 5.
Where?
Because remember, it was already Phoenix, Portland.
No, Phoenix snuck in there.
And
Phoenix snuck in because they wasn't supposed to be in there.
Oh.
Because it was supposed to be Toronto.
Well, they were smart.
They snuck in there, and they snuck in there quietly. Because
Nurkic was looking good with Phoenix.
Yeah, because out of nowhere, secretly, when the trade came out, everybody was like, Phoenix Suns? Where'd they come from? And I know they literally did a highway robbery with a ski mask on.
Because they knew Damian Lee was hurt and they needed more bench depth.
Bro, they got exactly what they needed. They literally got exactly what they needed. So with Harden, I don't know, man. I've been saying for the longest, if you want to make Harden actually worth having him on that team, you have him come off the bench for the 76ers. Because clearly what he wants now is to be he was supposed to go back to Houston. He talked himself out of a trade.
That was the initial talks during the whole
he talked it out
during the whole season, not the offseason.
He went to Houston and was like, I want to be triple-double James Harden again. And Ayuk was like, we're not doing that over here. We're actually playing team ball over here. We ain't doing that. That's not the rule. We're not doing that no more. And basically, they was like, yeah, we don't want James no more.
There's nowhere for him to go.
James basically right now needs to come off the bench for the 76ers as of right now. Because clearly, you showed in the playoffs he could go when Joel Embiid was not there. When Joel Embiid comes back, it's like, oh, here we go again. What happened? Where did James Harden go? He's nowhere near to be found.
Especially in the playoffs. He's never nowhere to be found.
Oh, yeah. He can't be found in the playoffs at all. And the problem is...
Clubbing too much with Lil Baby.
Yeah. Oh, 4PF Harden? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
we know.
Doing too much.
He's doing too much.
Go play.
But
or if not, then get out the league because they obviously trying to push you out now. They about to DeMarcus Cousins you if you don't be careful.
Oh, yeah, he's done. If he like
they're gonna Dwight Howard you if you're not careful.
Yeah. Not even Dwight Howard. You had it right on the head. They're about to Dwight Howard him. No, not Dwight Howard. DeMarcus Cousins him. Really, to be honest with you, they're about to Carmelo Anthony your ass. To be honest with you,
man, that was the next one.
The only reason Carmelo Anthony stayed in because he actually accepted the fact he need to come off the bench.
No, the only reason he stayed in really was because of Dame.
Yeah.
It was Dame getting him to Portland because remember he had nowhere to go.
He didn't have nowhere to go.
OKC didn't want him. He had nowhere to go.
You're right. But then he came off the bench in Portland.
He had no choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, or maybe he did have a choice.
That's the only reason.
He started.
He ended up starting.
Season, and then the second season he came off the bench.
Because he was. That's the thing. That was the problem. That was the main problem with it. Was the fact that he wasn't a starter no more, and he didn't look like a starter no more. You need to come off the bench.
Correct.
You need to come off the bench to actually stay in the league. And he accepted the fact, hey, you know what? You're right. Let me stay on the bench. Let me come off the bench and let me just bring energy from the bench. And he worked perfectly. It was great. And he had like what 3 or 4 more seasons after that.
Yeah, cool. And then the last one with the Lakers. So
yeah, and that was it. So like James, the same thing's about to happen to him.
Yep.
You don't
nobody coming to rescue him.
You don't force your way out of Houston. You force your way out of Brooklyn, and you're trying to force your way out of Philly.
Because Kevin Durant ain't gonna want you to come to Phoenix.
They're done with it.
So Russell Westbrook don't have no say with the Clippers.
Brother,
or you would have been there.
He barely hanging on himself in the Clippers.
So you have no other friends that's gonna be a lifeline for you.
And
when
what
you get waived.
You think Kyrie about to say something for you?
No, hell no. You left him high and dry. He was by himself.
Bro, Dallas is a dumping ground already. They just pouring money into Kyrie, and
they just lost 2 preseason games to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
The only reason the only thing they did was keep Kyrie and Luka so they could keep ticket sales up. They ain't playing to win, so that's one thing. They not
sad. Very sad.
So yeah, James Harden needs to come off the bench. If not, it's time for him to go.
He's done.
He's done.
That's why I don't think the Clippers deal is going to happen. It's either come off the bench or your career's over.
He's done.
So he better get his mind right. And as they say, I hate to say it because I'm not that type of person, but if you want to stay in, you're going to have to fall in line.
Fall in line.
And it's sad to say, but you're going to have to fall in line, man. But so before we get out of here, because I'm not even going to get into that Win Beyond train thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had a good had a good preseason start up.
Continue.
Yeah, you got to give him time. Give him time. I don't know why everybody keep trying to put him on the same height as LeBron. He's not going to be on the same height as LeBron. He ain't built like LeBron. He ain't got the same players.
Nowhere near.
And literally, LeBron came on a team where he instantly took over that team, and he was better than everybody on that team.
Period.
Wembanyama's coming to a team that he basically is not. He ain't better than him.
He's just taller. He's more skilled.
He's more skilled. That's
more skilled.
He's more skilled than them.
That's it.
So that's all.
Great coach in Popovich. So. That's it. But as far as before we get out of here, the thing that I want from you, because I'm gonna give mine as well.
Yeah.
Top 4 in the East and top 4 in the West.
All right, easy in the East. I'm gonna go with Milwaukee, Boston, 76ers, and Because really it's not no really other challenge. But I'm gonna go actually.
We got
New
the
York.
same teams. Oh, okay. That was the fifth for me.
I'm going New York.
That was the fifth for me. And I'm
And
fine with that.
I'm not even gonna put my team up in there, Miami. I'm not gonna put them up there because right now people going to be like, oh well, they're not good, or they're gonna be doing good in the playoffs. I know my team.
They do great when it's time to do great.
Yeah, we don't care about the regular season.
Yeah,
we truly don't care. We do enough to get in the playoffs. Because we know if
Or
we get in the
play
playoffs, because if we get in the playoffs, it's over for y'all. We know we about to put in work in the playoffs because we play every game like it's a playoff game anyway.
Yeah, so their record during the regular season doesn't even matter.
We put ourselves in scenarios to prepare for the playoffs. So like those 2 minutes, like 2 minutes left in the game, and we're down by 10. You think you could clearly see on our face, we're like, okay, this is what we need to do. We're preparing for these moments. So when the playoffs come and we get in these moments, it's not like, oh my God, what do we do? No, we've been preparing.
They know exactly what to do.
The whole entire season.
We play these teams either 4 times a year, 3 times a year, 2 times a year.
We know. So we're prepping throughout the season. So we don't care about the regular season. But I would say those 4 teams right now, because they've made moves to get better. We didn't make moves to get better. Miami didn't make moves to get better.
They stayed pat.
We stayed stagnant.
And lost some players.
And we lost players. But that's the thing. When we lose players, we really replace them with
the same value.
With the same value. So
Pat
it's not
Riley and Eric Spoelstra.
Here's the first example, because I'm gonna switch to the West real quick. Y'all talk about Gabe Vincent. You know who was Gabe Vincent before Gabe Vincent? He was a left-handed player.
Tyler Johnson?
No, he went to the Lakers actually. He was a rookie. I'm going blank. He just last played for the Wizards. And
you guys say it if you're going blank.
Oh, damn it. I just went blank.
Damn.
Yeah, I literally went blank, and I was going to say it. I'm going to come back to him anyway. But, yeah, I'm going to go to the West, though. West, Lakers, Denver, Phoenix. I want to sneak a team in there. But I ain't going to sneak them in there. I'm not going to sneak them.
They're going to be a top team. Top 4, top 5.
You think so?
Sack?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my West team.
They're going to be a top 4, top
Sack.
5. It's not going to be a one-year thing for me. To me.
Sack is going to be up in there. They're going to be in that conversation because they got that youth. And they added JaVale McGee there, which they needed. They needed JaVale McGee because Sabonis was the only big man there, and he wasn't really carrying.
They had Rashad Holmes. The
only problem with Rashad Holmes,
offensive rebounder, extraordinaire.
They got a better Rashad Holmes. They got a more experienced Rashad Holmes.
Who?
And JaVale McGee.
Because they just have a taller version.
They do the same thing, but JaVale McGee has been in the league longer.
JaVale don't get rebounds like that because
he does.
He can't play that many minutes, so he don't get rebounds at the rate of Rashad Holmes because he got the asthma. So he don't play as many minutes.
But he has the experience. They needed experience.
Play 15 minutes and gobble up 10 rebounds.
But they needed experience more of anything.
Rashad is experienced. He's been in the league for like 10, 11 years.
10, 11 years on a losing team all the time.
He played for Philly before he went to SAC.
They weren't. What's the deepest Philly has been? The conference.
He played for the winning Philly team. Since Joel been there. He was there.
I'm talking about actually winning, not like the first they've
like
won
championship.
Yes, the first
they've never been on no chip team.
Who? Rashad. That's what I'm saying. JaVale has. They need experience, that finals and getting to that playoffs experience. Because all got playoff experience. Because really, if you look at it. The only experienced person they had last year was Harrison Barnes. They haven't had nobody else. Rashad Holmes, yes, he was on the 76ers. Cool. Mm-hmm. But he really didn't play with the 76ers when they was in the playoffs. He didn't have burn in the playoffs when he was on the 76ers.
Yeah, he did, because that's how I know who the hell he is.
I've been to Rashad Holmes a long time ago.
Because he was getting burned with Philly in the playoffs. And then they traded his ass to SAC.
And they wasn't doing nothing with him. He was doing good
in SAC. And then all of a sudden Mike Brown got there and he didn't play.
He didn't play much. He didn't play much with
I love Mike Brown.
And I love Mike Brown too. But for me, Rashad Holmes really he's in the way.
Yeah, he probably was expendable.
Yeah. So it's like, that's why I say they just got upgraded. Instead of Rashad Holmes 1.0, they just got Rashad Holmes 1.5 and JaVale McGee. To be honest with you. I mean, that's all they got. So that's why I wanted to put them up there, because, I mean, Memphis going to make some noise, but them losing Ja for 25 games is going to hurt them a lot. And
don't forget that they're also missing Brandon Clark because of the ACL injury last year.
That too.
So And then now Dylan Brooks is gone. Even though you replace him with Marcus Smart has to get accustomed to how they do things in Memphis.
Yeah.
So does Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
And I love Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose 34, 35 years old. So
he ain't like he used to be.
Yeah, it's only so much that D Rose can do now. So
because it's right now Memphis. I feel like Memphis and New Orleans are in the same boat together. They're in the same boat together right now, especially because Zion is so questionable all the time. All the fucking time. To the point where we don't know if he's actually going to play or not. That's one thing.
And I don't know how much longer he's going to be in the league.
Hey, man.
Like, let's just be honest with that shit. Because, dog, if you don't play every year, how many teams going to keep investing in you? If you keep coming back bigger than you need to be, how many teams going to keep investing in you? So, I still hold out hope for New Orleans because I like their squad because they still keep keeping their squad together.
Yeah.
So, I like their squad, but it's only so long they're going to be able to before.
Oh, whoa. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? I messed up.
What's up?
I'm going to take Sack out. Sack is at 5 for me.
Okay.
They're sitting right outside the 4. How can I forget about the Clippers? The Clippers are 4.
All right, so while you said that, I felt like that was so disrespectful. So I'm going to just go ahead and go with mine because he put the Clippers over the Warriors. That's bullshit. That ain't happened. That ain't happened since the Kawhi era.
Well,
that ain't happened.
The Warriors is, to me, in that same position like the Miami Heat. Like, they're not.
No, they got better.
They got better. No, they got better. But they really only care about the playoffs. They don't care about the regular season.
Now they care about the regular season, and you can see it in the preseason. When they start winning preseason games and they take the preseason serious, that's how they take the season serious.
Okay.
Last year they didn't take the preseason serious.
Well, I had
and
to
then
see.
that bullshit happened with the punch. So
everything
got threw off.
Because I see the word like I never count when they get in the playoffs. I never count the Warriors out anyway. So that's one thing. I never count them out.
But the playoffs is so far away. I have to enjoy the season.
Yeah, I have to enjoy the season. So right now, when I'm like,
months of that shit.
For what I see right now, I'm like, man, and what I just know from basketball, I'm like, man.
Well, the Clippers is in the same boat to me as Miami because they didn't make no moves to get better.
But
they stayed pat.
But the only problem was they just never played.
And you think it's gonna change? Kawhi said it in the media.
He ain't know about the wrestling rule.
He don't care about it.
Oh, well, he gonna play.
So
he gonna play.
We'll see.
He gonna play.
We'll see. Anyway, my top 4 in the East, and I'm gonna go in the order too of how I think the season's gonna go. I think it's gonna be Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, and then Philly. Yes, I'm saying Cleveland. I think Cleveland takes a step up this year.
Who they got? Who they pick up this offseason? They pick up
still
Screws.
got Darius Garland. They still got.
They
Donovan
picked up
Mitchell.
Screws. I know that. That's the only person they stole.
And Matt Screws.
That's all they stole. They stole Screws.
That's all they really needed. Another shooter. So boom, you good. I do think they're gonna be a 3rd seed, 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
Philly, as far as them, just injuries, and then again the James Harden saga because he could become a cancer in that locker room. So I'm not gonna put Philly up at 3. As far as the West, I got the West number 1. I got it being actually. I hate to say it. God damn it, I hate to say it, but I think it's gonna be Phoenix.
Number 1?
Yeah, I think Phoenix will be the number 1 seed.
Okay.
I hate their offense. It's just nothing but ISO. It's 2 ISOs.
I saw the
KD,
preseason.
2 ISOs. Devin Booker.
So you
2
watched the
ISOs.
preseason.
Bradley Beal. Yes. I was like, what? So we're just gonna do 2 ISOs and then take turns? Like, oh my god! Like, but I think it's gonna be effective because
no one can stop them.
Who gonna stop them? Like.
They're too much of an offensive juggernaut
until the playoffs come. Then I think somebody gonna knock their ass out.
And the fact they have Nurkic as their back is just down there in the hole for defense. It's just
to gobble up offensive rebounds if they miss. So I think they're gonna be number 1. If not them, then I'll give it back to Denver. But number 2, I have Denver. Number 3, I have the Warriors. Number 4, I have the Lakers. I'm missing. Okay. I'm missing Memphis. I'm missing Sacramento. I'm missing the Clippers. I'm missing Minnesota because I do think Minnesota will make the playoffs.
I mean, they might make it. To me, they're gonna be in the play-ins.
I think they're gonna make it. When Ant-Man get out there and start really playing, I think that's gonna change the
game. Ant, come to Miami.
It's time. But I think he might come to the Warriors just because the relationship with Steve Kerr and how that initial thing went down with his draft workout.
Yeah.
And how Steve Kerr was like, bro, you're not doing enough. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And now how they had their relationship during the
Olympics,
during the
FIBA
Olympics, FIBA. There you go. then I'm like, okay, that I can see that actually happen if he don't go to somewhere more structured like a Miami or San Antonio or something like that. But that's my top 4. Shit, fuck. I guess that's been it. That's the 30, 40 minutes right there. So, Playboy, I thank you so much for joining me this week on the WarriorSInce 9-1 podcast, man. I so appreciate it.
Thank y'all. I appreciate you and your fans, man. Thank you.
All the time.
I love talking hoops.
People do check out the Heavily Opinionated podcast with my boy Playboy Troy. Also check out that Where WrestleManiacs 2 if you're a wrestling fan, if you're into, pro wrestling talk, keeping up on the current events, and even do some old school reviews as well. And that's about it. So you guys, thank you so much. Hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube, and then, check us out. You guys, peace out. See y'all next time, man. Yes, sir.